My name is Alara Voss. I am 29 years old, and I teach science at a high school in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I love teaching, but my life has been very busy and very hard. One day, while I was teaching my class, something very scary happened. My head started to hurt, everything in front of me got blurry, and I could not see clearly. My legs suddenly felt weak, and I fell down. The chalk I was holding in my hand snapped when it hit the floor. My students gasped. A coworker rushed over and helped me to the hospital. But before I continue, hit the subscribe button and tell me where are you watching this from, and what time of day is it? At the hospital, doctors put tubes and needles in my arms and looked very serious. They called my parents and my brothers to come, but nobody came. I was scared and confused. I stayed in the hospital bed feeling alone and weak. I didn't understand why my family did not come to see me. 2 days later, I was lying in bed, still feeling sick and tired, when I picked up my phone. On the screen, I saw a notification from Twitter X. It was from my older brother, Caius. He had tagged me in a family photo. In the picture, my dad was at the grill, cooking meat for a barbecue. My mom was smiling and laughing, and my younger brother, Eamon, was happily eating ribs. The caption said, "A peaceful day, no drama." My heart sank. They were out having fun while I was lying in a hospital bed. I felt invisible, hurt and very small. The photo cut me deeper than the four in my arm. I couldn't believe they were living a happy day while I was sick and alone. Then my phone buzzed again. I had 63 missed calls. My mom had also sent a text. It said, "We need your signature. Answer now." I felt my heart beat very fast. Not from pain, but from betrayal. Why did they need my signature? What were they hiding from me? Their absence wasn't an accident. They were ignoring me on purpose. I didn't cry. I didn't call them back. I just stared at the words, feeling a truth I had avoided for many years. Something had to break, and it wasn't going to be me. But before I continue, hit the subscribe button and tell me where are you watching this from, and what time of day is it? Teaching science in high school was my life. I loved my students and the experiments and the lesson plans. But my job was very stressful. My days were filled with grading papers, making lesson plans, writing emails to parents, and helping students after school. All this work felt heavier than any textbook I had to carry. My family leaned on me too, not with gratitude, but with expectation. They expected me to fix everything for them. I thought being loyal to them would keep us together. But I was wrong. My father, Thayer Voss, had a very bad habit. He liked to go to local casinos and play poker and slots. He lost a lot of money. But every time he lost, he promised me, "This is the last one, Alara." I believed him at first, once, twice. But I lost count of how many times I had sent him money. I had sent hundreds, then thousands, to cover his gambling losses. My mother, Odette Voss, acted like everything was normal. She would say softly, "He's just stressed." Her voice made me feel like I was the one who was wrong, not them. I paid for my mom's car repairs, her groceries, and other emergencies. I never asked why she didn't have the money herself. My older brother, Caius, had dreams of being famous on YouTube, but he didn't have a good plan. He asked me for money to buy cameras and film travel videos. He promised me that one video would go viral, and I believed him. I spent $2,000 on one camera, but his videos still had only a few hundred viewers. My younger brother, Eamon, was smart and charming. He went to college, and I paid his tuition. He texted me, "You're my hero," but he never thanked me again. Online, my family acted perfect, but I could see the cracks in their image. Aunt Serafina, my mother's sister, saw the cracks too. Years ago, she had warned me over coffee, "They'll bleed you dry, Alara." I ignored her words. I thought my help would make everything better. But I was wrong. The pressure from my family kept growing. Last month, Caius called me crying. He needed rent money or he would be evicted. I sent it to him, even though I had to skip paying my own bills. I was exhausted. I missed grading deadlines because I was too tired to focus. My principal, a strict woman with little patience, gave me a warning slip. "Get it together, Alara," she said. I nodded, my head pounding, but nothing changed. My best friend Lyra, who also teaches at my school, noticed I was struggling. She would see me rubbing my temples between classes. One day she said, "You're killing yourself." She wanted to buy me lunch to talk. But I said I was fine. I lied. I wanted to seem strong. But my body was telling me I was not fine. That night my vision blurred, and I saw stars dancing in front of my eyes. My hands shook when I graded papers, and I could not sleep. I lay awake at night, thinking about how much money I had sent to my family. I had sent $500 to my father, $2,000 to Caius, and $3,000 for Eamon's tuition. My bank account was almost empty, but their demands never stopped. My mother's texts were the worst. "We're counting on you," they said. She never asked how I was. I thought I could fix them. I thought my effort would make us whole. But effort doesn't fill empty promises. My dad's bets never won. Caius's videos never went viral. Eamon's gratitude never lasted. Aunt Seraphina's warning echoed in my mind every day. But I still sent money to my mom one last time for groceries. My body, though, had other plans. It was screaming that I had done enough. The day I collapsed, I had been up since early morning. I had graded tests, answered Caius's texts about money, and tried to finish lesson plans. My head hurts. My legs buckled. The classroom floor rushed up to meet me. I had given everything, my money, my time, my health, and they had taken it all without a single Caius. I woke up in a hospital room. My body felt heavy, and tubes were in my arms. The room in Fort Wayne was small and cold. A doctor told me my collapse was caused by stress. She said if I didn't rest, it could get worse. She gave me a pamphlet about burnout and told me I needed to slow down. I nodded, but my mind was thinking about a sharper pain. My family had not come to see me. The nurses told me they had called my family. They left voicemails, but nobody answered. I opened Twitter X again. I saw the post from Caius. It was the barbecue photo. I noticed something new. I had left a comment from my hospital bed. It said, "I'm in the hospital." But it was gone. My mom had deleted it. That hurt more than their absence. It felt like they were trying to erase me. Then Lyra texted me. "I called your mom," she wrote. She said my mom told her, "You're fine, don't worry us." My stomach twisted. My mother didn't just ignore me. She acted like my sickness was nothing, something to sweep away to keep their perfect family image. Lyra's words helped me see the truth. My father's promises of one last bet. My mother's insistence that he was only stressed. Caius's lies about his videos. Eamon's charm to get money from me. They were using me, not loving me. I clutched my phone. My anger was rising, but it was steady and quiet. I realized I was their tool, not their daughter or sister. I was a sacrifice they used to get what they wanted. But the chain that tied me to them was cracking. I wasn't their savior anymore. I was waking up. Lyra texted me again. "Check your bank account. Something's off." My hands shook as I opened my bank app. I had never questioned my finances before. I trusted my family blindly. But now I realized I had to check. I had sent them so much money. Did they take more than they told me? My anger grew. I thought of all the money I had sent. My father's casino trips, Caius's useless cameras, Eamon's tuition bills. It wasn't for their good, it was for their comfort. I had poured myself into them, and they had left me in the hospital. My anger was not loud. It was quiet but strong. It gave me a clear mind. I realized I was not their savior. I was waking up from years of being used. I put my phone down and took a deep breath. For the first time, I was not doing what they wanted. I was thinking about myself. I picked up the phone again and called Aunt Seraphina. My voice was low but firm. "I need you here now." Seraphina came quickly, carrying her laptop. Her face looked serious. She had spent years working with numbers and knew what to do. She pulled a chair to my hospital bed and said, "Let's see what they've done." She was going to help me. She was my lifeline. She was going to help me understand what my family had done with all my money and how they had used me for so long. In that small hospital room in Fort Wayne, I finally felt a little hope. I wasn't alone. I wasn't invisible. I had someone to help me. Aunt Seraphina's presence felt like a shield around me, protecting me from years of being used. I could finally take a deep breath and start thinking about me, not them. She logged into my bank accounts. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, moving so fast it was hard to follow. I sat there, holding my breath, my chest tight. The numbers on the screen slowly told the truth. There was a line of credit, $20,000, and it stared at me like a warning. Someone had opened it in my name without asking me. I couldn't believe it. The money went to my older brother, Caius. He had taken it and spent it on camera gear and trips for his failing YouTube channel. I had thought he would save or work for this money, but no. He had used my money for his dreams, not his own. It wasn't just that. Smaller amounts had disappeared too. $500 went to a casino near Fort Wayne for Thayer. I knew Thayer loved to gamble, and now it was clear that he had taken my money for it. $3,000 went to Eamon's college account. I had thought I had willingly paid it, helping him go to school. But no, it was another trick. I realized something that made my heart hurt, My family hadn't just used me, they had stolen from me. They had lied to me, begged me, and taken advantage of me. Vivian, the woman helping me, noticed too. Her jaw tightened as she looked at the numbers. "They've been taking all your money," she said, her voice steady, strong, and filled with disgust. I felt a mix of relief and anger that someone else saw it too. Then I remembered. I had 63 missed calls from Odette. Her text messages were demanding me to sign papers. For a moment, it hit me. They weren't worried about me being sick. They weren't checking if I was okay. No, they needed my permission to steal even more money from me. My mom's sugary words, my dad's promises, my brother's pleading, they were all lies to trick me. I felt betrayed. Betrayal burned hotter than the fever I had been fighting. I thought about the small moments that now made sense. Marcia had deleted my hospital comment online. Caius had posted about his barbecue while mocking me. Eamon sent messages pretending to care, but really, he was asking for money. They had played me for years and I had let them. But now I had had enough. I told Vivian, my voice firm. "Freeze everything. Stop all payments now." Vivian nodded immediately. She was already on the phone with the bank, her fingers moving quickly as she gave instructions. She froze all my accounts. Every payment to my family was stopped. Payments to Thayer's casino accounts, Caius's camera equipment, Eamon's tuition, all stopped. My money, my savings, my future, it was mine again. The weight I had carried for years lifted off my shoulders, replaced by a strong fire I had never felt before. I realized something important. I wasn't just stopping them from taking my money. I was taking back my life. My phone buzzed with a message. Thayer was first. "You're killing me, kid." He tried to make me feel guilty, but it only made me stronger. Caius sent a crying emoji, weak and hollow. Eamon sent a long message begging. "My degree is on the line, Alara. Don't do this." Odette left a voicemail. Her voice was sweet, but I could hear steel underneath. "We're family. Let's fix this together," she said. But I didn't listen. I ignored them. Their panic, their lies, and their tricks didn't scare me anymore. I put the phone face down, my hand steady. Vivian closed her laptop and looked at me. "You're done being their ATM," she said, and for the first time she smiled. I nodded. The fire in my chest spread. My family thought they could control me even from my hospital bed. They were wrong. The person who had collapsed in that classroom, the one who had been sick and weak, was gone. I was a new person, and they couldn't touch me anymore. Back in my apartment in Fort Wayne, the quiet of the hospital was gone. My phone buzzed nonstop. Each ping reminded me of the family I had cut off. Odette left voicemails, crying and begging me to send money again. Thayer's texts were sharper, angrier, filled with venom. "You'll regret this, Alara," he wrote. Eamon texted, desperate. "I'm broke. Don't abandon me." I read each message once, then muted their numbers. My accounts were safe thanks to Aunt Vivian, who had acted quickly. Their desperation only made me stronger. Then Caius tried to go public. He made a YouTube video in his messy apartment. His face was red, his eyes wet with fake tears. He cried and told everyone I was a cold sister who had cut off her struggling family. He talked about our parents' hard times and Eamon's future. He painted me as the villain, stopping their dreams. His video got lots of views and comments piled up. People called me selfish. My name was trending in Fort Wayne. Lyra saw the video first. Furious, she sent me the link. "He's lying to the world," she said. I watched, my jaw tight. I didn't reply, not yet. Lyra wasn't waiting. She posted a comment under his video. "Where were you when Alara was in the hospital fighting for her life?" People paused. They started to question what they were seeing. Some viewers dug deeper. They found old clips of Caius bragging about how I paid for his trips to Chicago and Nashville. Another found a tweet showing that I had given him $2,000 for new camera gear. The truth was clear. The lies were obvious. Comments turned against Caius. A hashtag appeared. #Justice for Alara. Strangers on the internet were defending me. By night, the hashtag was trending in Fort Wayne. Local bloggers shared screenshots proving Caius had taken my money and lied. A brewery that sponsored him dropped him, saying they did not support dishonesty. His subscriber count dropped. Each lost follower was a crack in his fake story. Odette tried to fight back. She posted a tweet. "Family is forever, no matter the lies." But people ignored her. They linked to Caius's old videos proving he had bragged about my money. Thayer stayed silent. Eamon begged again in text messages, but I didn't reply. Their perfect image was gone. Caius tried again. He made another video, crying and blaming me for everything. "I'm not a bad guy," he said. "Alara's lies are tearing us apart. His crocodile tears didn't work. The hashtag Justice for Alara was still trending. Viewers kept sharing proof of his lies. His subscriber count dropped below 200. A local news outlet reported his story, calling him a failed influencer caught in lies. His channel was finished. Eamon's life fell apart too. He couldn't pay dorm fees and was evicted from college housing. He texted me panicked. "I'm sleeping in my car. Alara, fix this." His words, once charming, now sounded hollow. His bright future had been built on my sacrifices. Without me, it was gone. I didn't reply. Marcia made one final attempt to save their image. She tweeted, "We love our daughter no matter what." It was supposed to sound noble, but it failed. People on Twitter called her out. They shared proof of my deleted hospital comment. Her account was suspended hours later. The family's perfect image, carefully built over years, lay in ruins. Thayer's fraud was public. Caius's channel was empty. Eamon's college dream stopped. Marcia's social media shield was gone. Fort Wayne neighbors whispered about their downfall. They had built their lives on my trust and used me. Now, everything they had tried to hide was gone. Then came another shock. I opened an email from Thayer. The subject line was blunt. "You owe us." It was sent from his old Hotmail account. He claimed I was keeping family money by freezing my accounts. He threatened to sue for what he called his rightful share. His words were careful, almost rehearsed, but full of anger. "You can't walk away, Alara. We'll take this to court." I stared at the screen. My pulse was steady. He wasn't scaring me. He was showing how desperate he had become. I forwarded the email to Aunt Vivian. Her response was quick. "He's bluffing, but let's check everything." She connected me with her lawyer, Isolde, a no-nonsense woman who had helped freeze my accounts before. Isolde's team looked through all my financial records. What they found was worse than Thayer's threats. My father had forged my signature to withdraw $10,000 from my pension account. He had used the money to cover gambling debts at a casino outside Fort Wayne. The paperwork was months old, and the signature looked shaky. I hadn't noticed because I had been too busy helping him. Isolde acted fast. She drafted a cease and desist letter that stopped Thayer from claiming any assets. The letter also warned his creditors about his pension fraud. Thayer's legal threat collapsed before it even began. I felt no shock, only a quiet satisfaction. My dad had crossed a line, and now he had to face the consequences. Meanwhile, Caius tried to fix his image again. He uploaded a rambling video filmed in his dim apartment, crying and blaming me. "I'm not a bad guy," he said. "Alara is ruining my life." His crocodile tears fell flat. The hashtag Justice for Alara was still trending. Viewers flooded his comments with screenshots, showing he had lied about my money. His subscribers kept leaving. His channel was dying. Eamon's world crumbled too. Without my money, he couldn't pay dorm fees. He was evicted. He texted me. "I'm sleeping in my car. Alara, help me." His words were empty. I didn't reply. His bright future, built on my money, was gone. Marcia made one last try to save the family's reputation. She tweeted, "We love our daughter no matter what." It was supposed to sound noble. But people on Twitter shared proof of her deleting my hospital comment. Her account was suspended hours later. Their perfect image was gone. Thayer's fraud was public. Caius's channel was dead. Eamon's college dream stopped. Marcia's social media shield was gone. The Fort Wayne gossip mill buzzed with their downfall. They had used me for years. Now everything they had tried to hide was ruined. I had won. My money was safe. My family's lies were exposed. I felt strong. I had finally taken back my life. I sat at my kitchen table, looking at the newest posts on a hashtag online. People I didn't know were writing about their families, telling stories about how they had been hurt or let down. Reading their words felt like looking into a mirror. I didn't feel sorry for my family. Not for Thayer's debts, Caius's mistakes, Eamon losing his home, or Marcia being embarrassed. They had caused their own problems. Every choice they made had built their troubles, like stacking bricks one on top of another until the whole thing fell apart. I felt a quiet kind of relief. I had been carrying their problems for years, but now I don't have to anymore. I could breathe. Isolde called me on the phone. Her voice was calm, steady, like someone who had seen everything and knew what was going to happen next. "Thayer is done," she said. "His creditors are coming for him. And that pension fraud he did? It could get him in big trouble with the law." I held the phone to my ear, listening carefully. All the years of my father's threats, my mother's lies, my brother's tricks, they had all led to this moment. The hashtag, Justice for Alara, wasn't just something online. It was showing everyone the truth about my family. For the first time, I felt like the world knew what had really happened. I put my phone down, my hand steady. Their story was finished. Mine was just beginning. The air in my apartment in Fort Wayne felt heavy. Memories were everywhere. Thayer's angry words, Odette's lies, Caius's videos that embarrassed me, Eamon's cries, they echoed in every corner. Aunt Serafina sat across the table from me. Her voice was calm, but firm, like a teacher who knew I needed to hear something important. "It's time to cut them off for good," she said, sliding a letter toward me. It was written by her lawyer. It said my family could no longer contact me. It was the final wall between us. I stared at the letter, my pen hovering above it. Signing it would mean stopping all ties with my dad, my mom, and my brothers. A tiny flicker of guilt appeared in my chest. What if people thought I was mean? What if they said I had abandoned my family? Serafina reached out and touched my hand. "You're not leaving them behind, Alara. You're saving yourself," she said softly. Her words helped me feel steady. I remembered the stolen money, the hospital bed they ignored, and all the lies. I signed the letter, my hand steady. The ink dried, sealing my choice. The Voss were no longer my burden. I was done. A week later, I left Fort Wayne. I packed my things into a rented van. It wasn't much, just the things I could carry, but it felt like a fresh start. My destination was Maine, a small town by the sea, where Serafina owned a cozy house. The drive was long. I crossed state after state, the sky changing from gray to blue to golden with sunset. Each mile felt lighter, as if the weight of my family's problems was fading behind me. I thought about all the years I had spent worrying about them, helping them, paying for their mistakes. And now I was free. I settled into Serafina's house. The windows looked out at the ocean, its waves moving constantly. The sound of the water was like music, washing away the worries I had carried for so long. Teaching online became my new routine. I taught literature classes from a small desk, my students' faces glowing on the screen. We talked about books, wrote essays, and planned lessons. It gave me structure and purpose, something that had nothing to do with my family. My days were calm, steady, and mine for the first time. One weekend, Lyra visited. Her energy filled the house like sunlight. Over coffee, she said, "We should open a bookstore here. You always wanted one, Alara. A little shop with books everywhere. Your dream." I froze. The idea stirred something deep inside me, a dream I had buried long ago. I had always wanted a bookstore, but I had put it aside to help my family. Now, with no one depending on me, it felt possible, but also scary. A tiny flicker of guilt came back. Was I betraying my family by building something new? I pushed the thought away. Lyra's bright smile and her belief in me made it easier. We spent hours drawing plans and imagining the bookstore. A small shop near the harbor, with shelves filled with novels and a corner for local poets. We would call it New Chapter because it was a fresh start for me, a life I could finally call my own. Serafina overheard us. "It's perfect," she said. "You're not just starting over, you're creating." Her words, along with Lyra's excitement, helped me decide. Yes, we would do it. The no-contact letter had been mailed. Thayer, Odette, Caius, and Eamon could no longer call or message me. My phone stayed quiet. I imagined their anger, my father's shouting, my mother's crying, my brother's begging, but it didn't bother me. The guilt I had felt for years was fading, replaced by a clear sense of freedom. One evening, I stood by the ocean. The waves crashed under a gray sky. I thought about the years I had been their lifeline. I had given my health, my money, my heart to them, thinking it was my duty. But they had used me. I finally understood. Taking care of myself wasn't betrayal. It was survival. Choosing myself meant breaking free, not just from their demands, but from the version of me who thought I owed them everything. Then a letter came from my mom in her handwriting. I opened it alone. She wrote, "You can't turn your back on us. We need you. Come home." Her words were sad, but also demanding. I read it once and felt nothing. I threw it in the trash. My mom's pleas were too late. Maine was my safe place, and its air was clean and sharp, full of salt from the ocean. I had made it my refuge. Lyra and I opened New Chapter, a bookstore in a quiet town. Shelves were full of novels and local poems. The shop was small, with windows looking at the ocean, but it was alive. People came in to read, kids sat on the floor for story time, and we felt proud. For the first time, I was building something for myself, not my family. Lyra was my helper and friend. She handled the money and laughed with me as I arranged the books. "You're worse than a librarian," she teased, handing me a stack of mysteries. We worked late, unpacking donated books, our hands covered in dust and ink. The shop gave me rhythm and purpose. It washed away my past slowly, page by page, day by day. My old life in Fort Wayne, Thayer's bets, Caius's videos, Eamon's schemes, felt like a closed book on a shelf. Aunt Serafina visited often. One evening, over tea, she said, "You broke their cycle, Alara." "I'm proud." Her words felt like a warm hug. She had seen how my family controlled me, and now saw my freedom. I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in years. The Voss problems, Marcia's lies, Thayer's fraud, my brother's failures, were theirs, not mine. People online still talked about them, but it didn't matter. The hashtag had done its job. Their story wasn't mine anymore. My life was here, in the creaky floorboards of the shop, in the chatter of readers, and in the salty air through the open door. One afternoon, I was putting books on the shelves when a breeze came through the shop. It smelled faintly of ink and the sea. The pages rustled like a soft whisper. I paused, touching a worn copy of Jane Eyre. The ocean stretched beyond the window, steady and endless. That breeze felt like a quiet promise, a new beginning, untouched by the past. I was free, not just from my family, but from their hold on my heart. Looking back, I saw the cost of my loyalty, the years I gave to people who took without giving. Letting go wasn't just leaving Fort Wayne or ignoring Odette's letter. It was letting go of guilt, the need to fix them, and the hope they would change. Freedom came when I chose myself. When I built this shop, this life, with Lyra by my side. Some days, I would sit by the window in the bookstore and watch the waves crash against the rocks. The sound was steady, like a heartbeat of the world. It reminded me that life moved forward, even after hard things. I could choose each day who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, and who I wanted in my life. I could build happiness that belonged to me, not borrowed from others. I thought about the people who were still talking online about the hashtag, Justice for Alara. Some shared screenshots of Caius's old videos. Others wrote about Thayer's debts. I scrolled past them, uninterested. Their drama was a story that had ended. My story is happening now in the bookstore in Maine, in the fresh ocean air. Lyra and I kept working on the shop. We planned little events, poetry readings, book clubs, story times for kids. The community loved it. People would come to browse, to sit and read, to talk about their favorite stories. Sometimes they stayed for hours, drinking coffee and chatting. It felt like magic. For the first time, I was making something that mattered, not just for me but for others too. Aunt Serafina visited one day and watched us work. She smiled as she saw people laughing and reading. "You broke their cycle, Alara. You're creating a life that's yours," she said softly. Her praise landed gently on me. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about being free. I had been trapped by my family for so long, thinking I had to carry their burdens. Now I knew that freedom meant living my own life. Every day, I remembered how heavy it felt to carry their problems. Now each day felt lighter. I could think about my dreams, my hopes, and my future. I could plan a bookstore event, organize a shelf, or read a new novel without guilt. It was a wonderful, simple kind of happiness. Sometimes, at night, I would sit on the porch with a cup of tea, listening to the waves. I thought about the years I had given to people who didn't deserve it. I thought about the freedom I had earned by choosing myself. And I felt proud. Proud of standing up for myself, proud of building a life that was truly mine. To anyone who might be trapped like I once was, I want to say this: your heart doesn't belong to anyone who hurts you. Let go, not just of them, but of the chains they put on you. The world is big, full of possibilities, and you deserve to take your place in it. You deserve to be free, to be happy, to build your own life. Maine became my home. The bookstore became my work and my joy. Lyra became my partner in this adventure. Aunt Serafina became my support and my guide. And I became myself, finally, fully, completely free. The ocean continued to move beyond the windows, endless and strong. The breeze carried the scent of salt and ink. The books on the shelves waited to be opened, each one a new story, a new adventure. And every day, I knew I had chosen the right story, the one I was living now, the story that belonged to me. I was free, not just from my family, but from the weight of their expectations. I had let go of guilt. I had let go of the need to fix them. And in that freedom, I found a new life. One with laughter, with friends, with purpose, and with love. One that was mine. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could breathe.